Robert Louis Stevenson was born on 13 November 1850 in Edinburgh. As a child, his poor health forced him to spend much of his time at home, and he developed a love of reading. His father wanted him to become an engineer, and Stevenson began to study at Edinburgh University. He understood that this was not his future, but to satisfy his father, he took a degree in law. He spent 4 years traveling in Europe and wrote articles about his experiences. In France, he met an American woman, Fanny Vandergrift Osborne, who was married and 10 years older than him. When she left for San Francisco, Stevenson followed her, and they finally got married in 1880. Stevenson returned to Britain with his wife and their baby son. His health was still very delicate, but he continued to write. He produced Treasure Island, A Child's Garden of Verses, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Stevenson's works were popular and successful. He was highly appreciated by other writers, but critics tended to dismiss his writing. After his father's death in 1887, Stevenson returned to United States. He sailed through the Pacific Ocean and spent long periods on the Hawaiian Islands. He bought a large property in Upolu, one of the Samoan Islands, and adopted the name Tusitala, which means storyteller in the Samoan language. The works of this period, in particular, the Beach of Felicia and the Ebb Tide criticize European colonization of the South Seas. Stevenson died on 3 December 1894. He produced an impressive quantity of works covering a wide range of genres, like poetry, plays, biography, essays, travel writing, short stories, and novels. But he is undoubtedly best remembered for his novels, especially The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is a product of Victorian England. In this era of scientific and technological progress and of the rapid expansion of the British Empire, many writers doubted the ideals of progress and civilization. A sense of pessimism and anxiety developed in a society that was full of contrasts. Jekyll escapes from his rational moral identity with a potion that transforms him into the depraved, irrational, evil Mr. Hyde, allowing him to taste the fascination of a world of instinct and sensuality. Jekyll's fascination with the primitive duality of man leads him to experiment with dividing himself. Hyde is responsible for a series of crimes, but escapes detection as a second dose of the potion transforms Jekyll's monstrous self into the Doctor. Jekyll's growing remorse can do little as he finds it difficult to free himself from Mr. Hyde. This horror story ends with the suicide of Hyde, who can no longer escape justice, and with the discovery of a letter written by Dr. Jekyll to his friend and lawyer, Utterson, which reveals the double identity. Dr. Jekyll appears to be the embodiment of the respectable Victorian gentleman. He is handsome and agreeable man. Hyde is the embodiment of the uncivilized part of humanity that hides beneath the formal bones of civilization. He is small and pale, and extremely ugly. Jekyll creates Mr. Hyde because he likes being bad without paying the consequences, and Hyde is his secret nature. The character's duality can be interpreted as a critique of Victorian morals, in which appearances were important and everything was fine as long as corruption and vice remained in the private sphere and unknown to the world outside. The dual relationship seems a reference to the theory of doppelganger, the German term literally meaning look-alike refers to the protagonist's alter ego, and it can be considered Dr. Jekyll's evil double. Their relationship is mutually dependent and very ambiguous. Uh, Even though Jekyll disapproves of Hyde's mischiefs, he is deeply attracted by his dark side.